Star Snatch Cliff is
We
known for
mercs
its
have
views.
one simple rule. Whoever
Ancient
pays the
alchemy
most
truly
is your new boss.
fascinating.
Which should I choose? The neighboring nation of Liyue has the most prosperous commercial port in all of Tibet.
Ancient alchemy truly is fascinating.
Which should I choose? Welcome. How can I help you?
My people are used to the desert life, but still, I hope that one day they'll be able to find an oasis of their own and leave
Ancient
the
alchemy
sandstorms
truly
behind
is
for a better
fascinating.
life.
The neighboring nation of Liyue has the most prosperous commercial port in all of Tibet.
Ancient alchemy truly is fascinating.
The desert's a tough adversary, but at least it doesn't hide anything. What you see is what you get, and whether you take on the challenge is entirely up to you.
In all of Tibet.
Ancient alchemy truly is fascinating.
The neighboring nation of Liyue has the most prosperous commercial.
Ad Astra Abyssa.
Behold, the Prinzessin der Verurteilung.
Command.
Oz, reveal the... Spring forth!
Let's get it on! Look alive!
Scatter!
The night is cold. Stars, shine for me.
Propagate!
Let's get it on!
Scatter!
My guiding stars.
Buckle up! Your mommy teach you that?
Your mommy teach you that?
Let's get it on!
By royal decree!
Buckle up! Ha! Ha! Are you kidding me? This is even colder than the nights in the desert.
Oz, reveal thyself!
Don't be scared.
By royal decree!
Let's get it on!
The night is cold.
Propagate!
You asked for it!
Oz, reveal thyself!
No rest for the wicked.
Buckle up!
Not now.
Let's get it on! Hi!
Cold, mine's a command. My guiding stars.
Propagate! Buckle up! Let's get it on!
Ad Astra Abyssa. Thank you for completing to.
My people are used.
One day, I'll be as great as Ryuji. One day, I'll be as great as Ryuji. One day, I'll be as great as Ryuji. It's been a while since we first set foot on Inazuma. So many things have happened since then. Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on our journey. So, where should we go? Huh? What? Hey! What the heck was that for? Doesn't want to talk, huh? All right, The night is cold.
Midnight Phantasmagoria!
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all? Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go. No, wait! Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the...
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kaedahara Kazuha? He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision. That's none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything of... Hey! Don't be mean! I'm unsmart lots of the time! Anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go find Kazuha right away and tell him to watch... Oh? What kind of hunch? A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each other? Yeah, maybe a little. Anyway, there's no time to lose. Let's go tell Kazuha. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him there. Kazuha is.
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd. I mean, if it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact...
Oh, so you still don't know...
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotouch. Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be? Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. In that case, he was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryo Commission. They said they had something, and I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable. Thank you! Guess we'll go pay a visit to the Tenryo Commission.
All right then. I'll just stay here and carry on trying to fend off the crowd.
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation. We invited Mr. Kaedahara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaedahara name. Regarding the history of the Kaedahara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed? In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the Almighty Shogun. The Kaedahara clan belonged to this class. But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaedahara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaedahara clans was neither proper nor just. Considering Mr. Kaedahara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma, the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past. In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to publicly release the findings of our investigations into these matters. We trust you can understand why this was necessary.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun and the Shogunate at large. However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past injustice. With the Kaedahara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaedaharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end. You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City with the Almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode. Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedahara, and the art of blade making for which it stood. I do have a responsibility to restore their honor.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaedahara Kazuha in town.
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedahara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaedahara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
What? But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and Kazuha still looks fine.
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stark. But perhaps if the Shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation will blow over more quickly.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands to...
Please allow me some time to consider. In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Originally developed for blade over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaedahara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to...
All the more reason to watch your back. This guy was a serious nutcase.
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he...
In that case, I will send some men out immediately to search.
Thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter, and I will also need some time to consider. I will first join the Traveler in investigating the one who attacked her, then give you a conclusive answer upon my return.
Very well. Please stay safe.
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on in town. Let's see what anyone around here has been looking for him. For Kaidehara Kazuha, we mean.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaidehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate...
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. I can't seem to recall anything of immediate interest. Mr. Kaidehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking for him. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango would have snapped them up in an instant.
Millions? Of mora? Whoa! Oh, wait. Even at that price, you probably still shouldn't.
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day... Sorry, I got a little off topic. But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly unusual? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads. I thought you might have some information from different sources.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But if anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
That does make sense. Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already run cold.
I still find it difficult to believe that few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first I am well aware of your talents. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose. For the poor victim, this would be...
Don't worry, we'll find it.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero.
You flatter me. Truth be told?
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely Oh, actually, there was one strange incident over... Let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure. During times like this, the more information...
All right then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
Amenoma? Now there's a...
He is...
Understood. Though it seems highly unlikely to me.
Sure, can't hurt. We never know what we might find out along the way.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making...
Sounds good. All the best with your investigation.
Welcome to Bonton Subject.
Okay.
Ah, if it isn't Kaidehara Kazuha. What brings you here today?
Huh? You two know
Yes, the Kaedahara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. Historically, there have always been deep links between the two clans. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects. Let me quickly explain. The Raiden Gokaden was the collective term for the 5 most acclaimed bladesmithing arts in Inazuma. The techniques of blade making were personally bequeathed to the Raiden Gokaden by the almighty Shogun, and over time, further honed and enhanced by the most talented craftsmen. Unfortunately, a series of events led to the gradual decline of many clans in the bladesmithing trade. Today, only the Amenoma clan has kept its art alive.
So sad.
It is a great pity indeed. In the old days, we each had our specialties, and just as iron sharpens iron, so too did we learn much. As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out, until both body and mind have memorized the craft. As for the art of the Kaedahara clan, I believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedahara clan has fallen on hard times, its ideals and virtues are alive and well.
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments, not by any noble aspirations on behalf of my clan. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew. We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is connected to another we are pursuing.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryo Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. I'm still completely at a loss on what to make of it, but I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile. All I can do now is wait for the news from the Tenryo Commission.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. Know anything about that?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift. I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that. Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it. Unfortunately, there was very little evidence left behind, so nobody knows what really happened.
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. Otherwise, there would have been no reason for him to get my hopes up. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most...
The person we are looking for. He attacked this friend of mine. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind. He has never gotten into a fight before.
Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that Yuya would never draw his blade without a very good reason. But, with that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear, with neither farewell nor fair warning. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced, or otherwise compelled by circumstances unbeknownst to me. Anyway, should you find him, please let me know as soon as possible.
Don't worry. You have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the Nagato household.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. We're still trying to find out as much as we can to inform our search. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic everything was fine when we first got married. But as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh, what happened?
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick up. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Amenoma Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price. But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse burned down. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off. As long as he's willing to turn...
Please don't get upset. There could be... If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, but the information we gathered from the other side suggests...
A little confusing.
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece... Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find any.
Thank you so much.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the salesman... The fire at the warehouse, like... Do you have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon... Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Right. I very much agree with you. It seems highly likely that we're... Working off what we know so far, there are too many things that don't add up. The chances are that there are still some clues left. The more I ponder it, the more puzzle... Right. Although Amenoma Yuya lacks a...
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but...
Let's keep going, since we've come this far. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nut...
Okay, but where should we...
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance... Wait. I hear something ominous in the wind.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that fishing thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
Okay, thank you. But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants, indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation. We should remain vigilant and approach...
Huh. So it's an underground warehouse.
The force is definitely coming from down below. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the... From what I've been told, but most will develop a stubborn... Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence...
So what
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than...
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to...
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source left this. Two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this Tatarigami energy... Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around. From this point, the trail appears to split into two. The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small...
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
My guiding stars! Oz, reveal thyself! The night is cold.
Let's get it on!
Propagate!
Buckle up!
It's...
Ugh. Look,
By the looks of it, a letter. Written on a piece of torn cloak. Well, let's... According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight.
so...
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point. Yes, Right now, we need to if Ame no Mayuya is attacking other people indiscriminately.
Right, so let's get moving.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the for a practitioner of the martial arts. He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have...
Show yourself! It's no use hiding in...
Kaede Harakazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is. What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly...
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Ame no Mayuya that... But what if instead of facing Ame no Mayuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, it is giving up. Whoa! Surely you do...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living or... The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind. Or rather, as a means to occupy Ame no Mayuya's...
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced. Many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. All he needed, and sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect...
So... swords can become...
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest. I seek but one thing. To face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power. The might...
So Ame no Mayuya was... Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished...
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but... When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed...
You're awful...
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Ame no... At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Ame no Mayuya. Kaede Harakazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to... Now, give your body over to...
Into the wind!
Cole, learn to command. Not...
Hi! You asked for it!
Rewrite history!
The wind knows me.
Germinate! My guiding stars!
Look alive! Ha! Ha! Cha! Cha!
Into the wind! Clouds high.
The birds rewrite history!
The wind knows me.
Do not stand in my way, or I...
Your bluff's fooling no one!
Lost. I can never lose. It is this body that, even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. The end result is the same. I will... And even if I were to lose my physical form, by any means necessary, and any medium...
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art, but from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania.
Really? You can tell all that just...
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey... Since the blade is currently possessing Aminome Yuya's body, its movements... If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you know. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner, now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity.
What a...
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so... You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy. I think you realized your limitations long ago. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has...
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one...
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous, even if you were to sever that divine light, is this truly the outcome? Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who... How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance?
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate...
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self... It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaida.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet.
What? Surely you're not...
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste. Once we have dealt with them, we shall...
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release...
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Aminome Yuya. If we don't do this, the Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensive...
But even so...
Even if things take a turn for the worse, we have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risk.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because... Now, take...
Kazuha?
I felt a little dizzy at first, but it's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will.
What should we do next? Have you got a...
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't... If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of Aminome Yuya...
Are we sure this is a good idea? Okay, fine.
Leave everything on this journey to me.
Into the wind.
Very day.
One with nature. It's fine.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my night.
The wind knows me.
How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he...
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than try... Let's keep going.
Time to go.
It's my lucky day.
One with nature.
Be no more. It's my lucky day.
The wind knows me.
As one with wind and cloud.
One with nature.
Whoa! Something's up with the blade!
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade... He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps
But what would that do to Amanumi?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily. He's still trying to...
Fall before me! I'm ready!
One with nature.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my night.
Into the wind.
Are you okay? It looks like you...
Yes,
The sheen's grown a bit dimmer again.
perhaps this time we'll finally have a...
True form? What are you talking about? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of gem.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the show. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. Just more of the same.
Will do!
One with nature.
You fought way better with your...
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps...
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard too much time has passed. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue. Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have skill, blade, determined... There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, Tatarigami is a malevolence from the... Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by...
I sensed it, but...
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you I feel a great sense of regret for you. The moment you embarked on this journey, you have known this for a long time.
He gave me everything. My life. How could I possibly deny it? I said to him, do not worry, from here. How could...
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give... When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a bladesmith lay quietly on the bed. A newly forged blade lay by his side.
Wow. That was the...
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, he spent the rest of his life in the forge. Not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his... He felt intense regret at being tricked, so he instructed this sentient blade to find... All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliant.
So that's the... But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were worked by the Tatarigami, slowly turning his...
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with... This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities.
Shake?
Yes. It is too late. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. He seems to have calmed down.
When I look back at the past, I once told him that I would pay any... But darkness and slump. Not only did I fail to fulfill it...
You are finally seeing reality...
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor... But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his So, may I ask you to...
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix, too?
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, my physical form as well as the...
His attitude has grown. What do you think, Kazuha?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I... Alas. Nor have I ever had... My fights were devoid of any... You are a fine warrior. I would like...
Oh? And who would be...
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps you must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and...
Understood. Then let's start by waking...
I see. I utterly despise him and his action. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I do not wish to be a mere victim in this.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch...
Thanks for your help. Who knows how...
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay... In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater...
Berserker.
Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. Successor of Ishin art.
Successor of Amenoma art. Amenoma...
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
The wind knows me. Into the wind.
As one with wind and cloud,
One with nature. The wind knows me.
Thank you for the experience. Although he appears battered and broken, in your hand, his sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away.
You also fought well. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I have the right to forgive you. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone, and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes. I too trust Mr. Kaedehara to do...
Thank you, successor of Amin.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to... Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go there?
I'm not sure, but I...
It's Yuya! You have...
I am sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks to them.
A prized Ishin blade. Turned weapon that controls the human mind. Consider... But I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bantan Sango detective...
Really?
Yes. Badly wounded, and now that Yuya is back, it seems like the...
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering?
Yes. He said he wants to take control.
What? No way! Hasn't it...
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me that he won't use... I have decided...
You... But... He...
Thank you. I will... Okay. I am ready. Let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will
Kagotsurube Ishin. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own action, only in the final moments.
Seems like he really, really wanted to fulfill his maker's...
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep speaking for myself. I understand. Hearing his wish to rival your quest to face the gods and trace your... After everything I've seen, perhaps...
Oh,
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go update Kujoka?
Oh, you're right. We need to tell... And it's also time to give him a response to...
You've returned. I hear that the Tenryou Commission has already attended.
Wow, you sure can...
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using a long lock. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also... And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations.
I see.
The Kaedahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate...
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not...
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own...
Very well. I can understand. Then let's pretend this offer was... However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the shogunate's assistance...
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
Where will you travel to next?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Traveling to Teyvat from someplace else? And as for your brother... Whew, so many questions. Let's go find Nahida and see what else we can find out.